Good afternoon. How's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Wednesday, just about 1 p.m. here along the West Coast. July 16th, 2025 is the date. Latest earthquake here on the globe shows a 1.6 across California. A little bit of movement overnight in some various areas, including a 5-pointer up there across the Aleutian Trench. Let's go ahead and take a look at that here. That's right around the middle section here of the Aleutian Trench, major subduction zone between the Pacific and the North American plate. So 5.4 earthquake, 42 miles deep here into that subduction zone. That's probably one of the more stronger ones out here, specifically in this area. In the last 30 days, we've had some other activity to the east and some to the west, but specifically around this zone, one of the more larger ones. A lot of deeper activity out here as well in the last 30 days. So with all the movement shuffling around here across the Pacific plate, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Back over here across the California or the West Coast area, some movement there at Mount Rainier continuing. Got a number of earthquakes there this morning. Let's get a total tally. By the way, 32 is the number here in the last 24 hours. The last 30 days, which includes, of course, the swarm here over the last week or so, 751 earthquakes still continuing out here. A little bit of migration here to the southwest and some up to the north. No changes there in the GPS stations, though. Just got a decent swarm of earthquake activity. Last night, some tremor activity being recorded there across the Cascadia subduction zone. Let's go back over here to the Mount Rainier seismograph station here and see what it looks like today as far as the recorded view. Still have a number of earthquakes out there. That's going to be these well-defined spikes on the station. These events, hard to say what they are. It looks like some type of outside interference noise, but there is a number of earthquakes out here. Obviously so far today, and it hasn't died off completely, folks. It's continuing. Again, no major notable change there in terms of seismicity or any GPS measurements, just in a decent earthquake swarm. We'll have to watch that and see where this is leading to, but no doubt that will go down in the books here for a fairly lengthy and a decent swarm there with no volcanic activity as far as any eruption goes. All right, further down south, Northern California, pretty quiet. One earthquake way down here into the Sacramento Valley, the west side. 2.1 earthquake this morning. Nothing really new to report for Northern California. Down here across the San Andreas Fault, the creeping section, a couple smaller earthquakes today, but really nothing of any noteworthy value. Now down here across the Fillmore area, 2.7 struck here yesterday. It does look like we have some aftershock activity, if you want to call it that, from a 2.7. That is in between a couple different faults here. A little unsure which one that's occurring on, but a little bit of uptick there in the last 24 hours. And as far as Southern California goes, 2.7 is going to be the only quake there above 2.5 from the last 24 hours. So we've got a lot of microquake activity out here. No unusual movement to note here. We got this from yesterday and a little bit from today as well. A couple small microquakes there just off the San Andreas Fault, but nothing big happening out there for now. Some movement out there in northern Nevada, 3.1 just after midnight. Yellowstone National Park, nothing showing up, but let's see if it's back online yet. That's not a good sign there when it just completely loads a blank page. So let's see if we can find the University of Utah. I normally don't go to the direct site because I like using this layout. But let's see here. Lots of seismograph stations all over the place, right? I guess what I could do here is, here we go. This will work. Ooh, I wonder if that's why it's offline. Because the University of Utah seismograph stations there are offline. That's interesting. So that's why the Yellowstone stations aren't working. I can't even access the direct links. Not for sure what's going on here. I wonder if they got a new link here to the seismograph stations and Webby quarters here. See here, it does look like they've maybe revised this map here, so see if it's working. Yeah, it's working. It's a little odd looking though. Let me see here. Let me take a look here at another seismograph station, maybe up here around the northwestern corner. Yeah, this is a little bit different here, so I'm guessing the website that uses the layout there of Yellowstone is going to have to update their settings. But even then, this looks like it's way under amplified here, or way over amplified, because we're not able to see anything that's really occurring on the graphs here. It's a little weird. I have to check back on that, but I don't see anything. I mean, it's hard to tell as far as earthquake activity goes. I don't have. I take that back. I thought I had a Yellowstone station up here, but I forgot to add that. So for now, we'll just move on past that, because really no way of knowing when the graphs are kind of messed up like that. Nothing showing up though, but that doesn't mean there's nothing, that something that's not happening. Out there across Texas, oil fields still getting hit. One oddball earthquake out in Arizona, 2.6 yesterday. New Madrid seismic zone here. Got one from yesterday, one from today. The latest one within that New Madrid seismic zone, a 2.0, 4.6 miles deep. Also across the South Carolina area, little earthquake outside of Charleston. That's a 2.2. This area is capable of producing some big earthquakes. Who would have thought, right? Yeah, they've seen some large earthquake activity out there historically. It's been, when was that? Let's see here. I think it's been a couple hundred years ago. Let's double check that real quick and see. Just want to draw a little area out here across the South Carolina region. Make sure I cover that appropriately right there. So we've got the Charleston area here. I think it's going to load, hopefully. Yeah, there's that big earthquake, 7.0 back in 1886. That's a big one. Got quite a bit of time there that has passed, but I don't know if this is ready for another big earthquake or not. But either way, this just goes to show you here, with this recent activity within that zone, that this fault system out here, this intraplate boundary, is still very much alive. 7.0 out there today would be, wow, not good. All right, so let's move on past that. Far as Japan goes, I don't see anything showing up here on the map from the USGS aside from a deeper, well, that's not really deep. It's a 21-mile deep earthquake up there along the Kuril-Kamchatka. That follows some movement here that we picked up in the last couple days around this area of the subduction zone. But far as this region down here off the Nankai Trough, I don't see anything showing up. Let's double check that, see how we're looking today in this area. This is the area around the Nankai Trough, just to the southwest there, where that earthquake swarm's been ongoing. I don't see any major uptick. There was a few there about 5 o'clock, about 4 earthquakes this morning. Some late last night into the, that's quite a bit there, the 11 o'clock hour. Look at that. Starts right here, and then it works all the way up here. 15, there's a good 20 earthquakes there up into the midnight time period. Bunch of 3s and 2s, even a 4.1 and a 4.3 in the mix. So earthquake swarm ramped up for an hour late last night, and then it's died out here again. But still got my eye on this area here. Just because we get little quiet spells doesn't mean it's over, as far as the potential goes. 2.9 across the extreme south area of South America. Some movement out here in the Atlantic today as well. I see 2 4-pointers, but I think there's probably only going to be one out there. one from the USGS and one from the EMSC. They tend to show up like that as a double quake if they don't match the correct parameters. Nothing going on up north aside from the eruption there in Iceland, which we'll take a look here real quick at. And here's the latest information here from the Icelandic Met Office, discussing a little bit on the ongoing eruption. The eruptive fissure here that struck yesterday has lengthened and now extends further north than the previous fissures. So here's just a simple layout of the map and the overview. We got Grindavik down here. It's not really the best quality, but there's our previous fissures out here. Blue Lagoon in the Svartsengi area, or the Svartsengi power plant. Blue Lagoon over here. I hear that that's evacuated, and of course that's smart during eruption. But it does look like this is, tracking northward here. That's where the current fissure activity is, filling in this area here to the east. These are probably some depressions out here that the lava is going to fill in. This is a ways away from any populated area, so that's good news. But it's been a few months since we've had any type of eruption out there, and that's, I guess that's in a good location there, away from any infrastructure and population. Hawaii out here got a little swarm going on, it looks like. Some 2s and even a 3-pointer. Some of this deep, some fairly shallow. So let's go see what's going on there across Kilauea Volcano. I'd like to watch this because we've seen, a number of episodes of eruption here since last December. It's been consistent up and down in terms of the inflation chart. But right now, I don't see anything that's telling in terms of anything different than what we've already seen. Just a rinse and repeat pattern there across Kilauea Volcano. Deformation data shows continued inflation. We're just about at the level seen previous to the last eruption here. So maybe another day before we see that return there to Kilauea Volcano. Real quick glance here at the webcam up at the summit area. Volcanic gases there across, it looks like both vents. I'm kind of curious to see how that one vent's going to behave with it being blocked. I wonder if that could create some type of blowout there. So we'll have to watch that, because I believe it was a south vent that did not participate in this last eruption. It was blocked and covered over, just fountaining there from the north vent. So we'll check back on that as we get a little bit closer there to the expected eruption, which again should happen here in about another day or so. New Zealand fairly quiet down here today. A couple of earthquakes up along the Kermadec Trench northward. Still relatively quiet out here across the right about Papua New Guinea eastward here up into the Fiji Islands. This has been periodically getting a couple small earthquakes, but it's been awfully quiet in terms of larger movement. Typical clustering out there across the area to the west here in Indonesia. Not so much going on here across this area of the world. South Sandwich Trench, a couple earthquakes down, or at least one earthquake this morning, 5.2. So overall, kind of just a minor to moderate day of earthquakes. Here's that super deep earthquake right here. Look at that 4.4. USGS not, well, they're showing that one a 4.7, but that's from yesterday. I guess, well, there's a 4.7, but there's been a deeper quake here, this 4.4, closer to the Nankai Trough this morning, it looks like. So I still need to watch this area closely. Seismograph stations out there look pretty quiet for now. Not a whole lot going on. Let's go check out space weather activity here on this Wednesday. Not seeing a whole lot of activity stirring up there on the solar flare department. Things are mellowing out, even though they bumped up the M flare threat. That's kind of odd. I wonder why they did that. What would be the who's the culprit? 4139 and 4138. These two? Let's see what this looks like for today's imagery. I don't know, that one's just about out of sight, out of mind. I guess this does have a little bit of further strengthening here within the central core. Notice these two areas starting to fill in. That could be a sign there of some amplification. This whole area is starting to look a little crazy looking. This original sunspot here was massive, a number of days ago back over here across the eastern limb. It died off, and now it looks like they're all just kind of joining in as a sunspot group. So that could mean some interesting flare activity within this section here. This region here is starting to show a little bit of development there within the center portion of that core as well. So a number of sunspots. I guess, that's probably reasonable there to bump up the inflare threat with the advancement going on here overnight. Coronal hole way to the south. The latest imagery here shows that drifting off further to the west here. Again, all that high-speed solar wind stream shooting south of the Earth-Sun plane. Had that been center disk, yeah, we'd be talking about a number of days of decent auroras. But that's not taking place there. Let's see what else we got here for any close approach asteroids. I always go down the line here and double check just to make sure there's lots of numbers and lots of commas on here, because that means that they're a distance away. So of course, this is the ones that they're monitoring, and maybe some ones that they're not monitoring have still yet to be discovered. This one's fairly new. But yeah, everything looks pretty safe out there in terms of asteroid close encounters. Severe weather, slight risk for some severe weather across Colorado and up around the Great Lakes there. Got a little 5% chance here for some tornado activity. Looks like that's up in Wisconsin region. Stretching down into portions there of Illinois. So watch that for some spitting of water vapor. Got a little bit of wind and some hail threats out there as well. As far as that potential tropical system here, down there in the Gulf off the coast there of Louisiana, let's take a look here and see what we got. Definitely not that one. I think it's called Invest 93. Still on, well, yeah, here's the intensity model. Notice that most of the computer models now have dropped out of the tropical storm just down into a disturbance here. So don't think we're going to see anything major coming of this system, except for quite a bit of rain here from the storms that are popping up. Most of the spaghetti models here showing that going right over New Orleans there into Louisiana and then up north. But again, not really expecting much in terms of any major wind damage. Of course, precipitation wise, yes, there's going to be quite a bit of rain here. Let's check this out from our windy site, which is a wonderful site, by the way. Got a lot of useful information here. Rain accumulation is one of those models I love to use. You put this up here in the days ahead. This goes till Tuesday of next week. Yeah, a lot of rain there near New Orleans, up in Louisiana, but I'm not seeing anything that's majorly over concerning. In fact, the GFS model shows a little bit less in terms of rainfall accumulation. So, yeah, that's a lot of moisture out there across the east. Nothing going on out here except for some hot temperatures in California. I think it's supposed to be about 94 today, so that's a little bit of a cool down compared to what we've been experiencing out here with, above 100-degree days here for a number of weeks. It is July, I know. Everyone says it happens every year, but it seems like I hate it every year. I'm not a big fan of the heat, let me tell you. All right, California fires out here. A couple burning out here, obviously in Northern California. This is a fire north of me. I'm 13% containment. There's still a lot of hot spots out there on the north and southern end, burning towards Shasta Lake. Big one over here deep in the forest called the Butler Fire. That's a 0% containment, burning up there in the forest. Some, away from populated areas, but that is a decent fire up there. Down south, I think they got the Madre fire under control. Just about 97% containment. I don't see anything burning out there as far as hot spots go. The Fay fire, yeah, that's showing up. Is this camera working? Let's see here. It's going to let me see it. There's some of the red retardant dust that the airplanes put out there to help control the fire. But there's a lot of hot spots being observed there on the satellite imagery. That's the Fay Fire, 0% containment, 648 acres. I got Max Fire up here. It's just, things are drying up out here. It'd be nice if we got some rain, but look at that. A lot of fires out here. Anyway, hopefully they get those under control. One look here at the seismograph stations, still show them offline, but that's just been the case here off and on. Aside from that, folks, have yourself a wonderful day and stay cool. Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll catch you guys out here a little bit later on for the Wednesday night update.